Thursday, the 23rd of January 2025, and I'm here outside of Tesco's in Ballyborough in County Cavan, and just getting a few things. I happened to go into Dunnes Stores today in Cavan, and they have a special offer on Felix cat food. My cat refuses to eat hardly anything other than Felix sachets, and they're selling it at €5 for the box of 12 sachets. I bought 2, and that's very good value. You can pay up to $8.55 for them in many places, and it varies. So €5 up to $8.55, that is an unbelievable rip-off. Now, one of the things about these supermarkets, you have to live with them, there's not much you can do, is the Value Club card and all these other loyalty things, which are in fact a scam. In there in Tesco's, there's items at €22 that can be bought for $17.50 on a Value Club card. That's 20. That means that there's $4.50 of a rip-off. Now, what many ignorant people who cannot count, what they believe is it's a great saving to get it for $17.50. But it's at the expense of the people who don't have the club card. So there's no saving if it's a rip-off. You're just getting at the price at $17.50 that is the proper price in a proper Every Little Helps store. And of course, they rope you in with the club card and all of this. I think it should be illegal. If I had my way, there'd be no loyalty bonus schemes at all. They'd have to cut their prices down. Now, I was in Lidl's there maybe a week ago, and they have it now. I thought they'd never do that. I was very disappointed at Lidl's. I don't know how Asda and Aldi got it. I don't know. I think Asda doesn't. Asda's mostly in Northern Ireland. Aldi is in the Republic. They're two different companies, I think. So anyway, we can whinge all we like. It doesn't make any difference. People will buy it, and that's all that matters. And there's no moon out tonight. And it's very dark. And the roads have white lines in Ireland, and in America they have an orangey coloured line. I think the white line is the best, because one of the functions of the line in the middle of the road, they prevent mistaking which lane you're in, and therefore if they're clearly visible, a car is less likely to drive out and hit a car coming in the opposite direction. So they're a help. Now, the road in Cavan from Ballyborough to Virginia and Ballyborough to Lavey is unbelievably twisty. It got no upgrade at all since the British put them in maybe 200 or 300 years ago. There was a slight upgrade on the Virginia Road out of Ballyborough at Ursher, a little bit. And is it Lisnally, is it there? But there's a little bit there, widened the road and improved. But that's it. It's horse and cart turns and twists. Unbelievable. And it's not that they couldn't be repaired. They could be repaired because there's many turns that could be straightened and an effort made. There's one house on the Ballyborough to Lavey Road, over further than Drummond Nesbitt. It's a good bit over there. Before you come to Grouse Hall Lake going from Ballyborough. And there's a house for sale there, pushed out on a corner. Wouldn't you think Cavan County Council would buy the house, knock it down and make the road a bit straighter? But of course, this is Ireland. And if the council and the government gave us better roads and better facilities, we'd vote for somebody else. This is always the problem in Ireland, that if you do a good job by the Irish people, they will always put you out on the election day. So that's the story. We are still 1700s, 1800s roads here in parts of County Cavan anyway. Now it's like Christmas Eve. Met Éireann has put out an alarm that there's going to be high winds and high storm Only something or other. I don't know what, can't remember now. And there's no doubt when you go outside of here at Tesco's in Bellaborough, there's a very uneasy calm. You'd know that it wasn't the normal good weather calm condition. It's one that, as to say, calm before the storm. It's a kind of one where it's like if you're standing up and there was a big strong man leaning on your right shoulder and a big strong man leaning on your left shoulder. If one of them moves away, you're going to fall in the opposite direction, in that direction. It's not an equilibrium, as to say. It's not like if you're standing up on your own. Will the storm be as bad as they say? Well, this is the first time in my lifetime that the An Post has shut down. They're closing down tomorrow, the postal service, for a storm. I have never, ever witnessed Ireland shutting down for a storm. Now, it's very hard to say. There couldn't be a tree fall on some car, and that's hard to say. But I have a funny feeling that it's not going to be any worse than any high windstorm we had before. You have to be very careful saying that. It could do some damage to some of us. But I have a suspicion what we really have here is the nanny state. And the nanny state is alerting us and alarming us about weather, so that when it comes to the RTE will be on, our national broadcaster, and when it comes to the next day, if there is a big storm, they will have said they forecast it. Fair enough, the weather have to do the best they can, but they'll also say it's climate change. So this is the thing. So I will report back, hopefully this time tomorrow. Hopefully we're all alive. But I notice all around Ireland tonight, there is a Christmas Eve atmosphere. People are stocking up. And I said to a few in Tesco's, this is the end of the world. You'll never see tomorrow morning. We're all going to die at 3 o'clock in the morning. And they laughed at me. So it looks to me we're the victim of a mix of natural concern and the weather people genuinely letting us know there could be problems, and mass hysteria cultured up by the media. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So one of the strange things about all this climate change stuff is that in the American presidential elections, the bold Donald J. Trump said he was going to drill, baby, drill, and do all of the things that should horrify any climate change concerned person. And nobody challenged him on it. Why did the Harris-Walz campaign, why did they not come after him and say, look, we would do that too. We would frack, we would bore for oil and all that. But it will destroy the climate. We can't do that. Why weren't they honest about it? The word climate change was never mentioned once in the campaigns in the American general election. Does anyone want to hazard a guess why that is? Now, the other thing then is that Trump has pardoned the January 6th crowd, about 150 of them, I think, I'm not sure. But one of the prisons in Washington where they're imprisoned won't let out 12 of them. They're defying the president's order. They're not letting them out. That'll show you. And the president's order is law. And before he went, the bold Joe Biden of the Biden crime cartel pardoned half the world. And I was banned for weeks off YouTube for saying what he has pardoned some of the people. I cannot tell you what it is. Most of you will know what it is if you look at the pardons. So people, I'm being told by YouTube that I can't mention certain things about our health. And the people who made the rules have to be pardoned. And why would you pardon them if they done nothing wrong? Does that make sense? So it's a crazy, mixed up world. Certainly, the whole world is shook up big time with this Trump But he says he's going to fix the Ukraine. His attitude to the Ukraine is, this is a blooming nuisance, get this sorted. I haven't time for this. Now, it seems a bit strange, and I have to say, it seems strange. But it's possible that Putin and the Russians might say, well, we'll have a word anyway, and there's no doubt they're going to talk. We'll talk about it. And when you're talking, you see, you don't know what will come out of it. you don't know what will come out of it. It'll be very interesting if he can bring about an end to the Ukraine war in a short time. That would be some achievement. No matter what else he did after that, I mean, that'd be worth it for that alone, because of all the deaths of people. Now, in my book, people dying and young men dying and old men dying is sad. But in the view of the left-wing socialist globalists, you and I don't matter. Our laws mean nothing. Now, the Davos crowd are meeting with the World Economic Forum. Now, what I cannot understand is, if they're an economic forum, why don't they deal with economics? Why don't they deal with trade and evening up trade and making trade more equitable? Instead of that, they're dealing with climate change, diversity, equity and inclusion, LBGQ and all woke. So what's an economic forum getting involved in woke issues for? Anyway, Trump has ordered the closure of all diversity, DEI, diversity, equity and inclusion, and he's leaving the staff there on pay for the moment. Close them down, and he wants them closed down by 6 o'clock tonight. That is some change. Of course, the woke crowd are howling, and CNN, the broadcaster, are howling. What's going to happen? A transgender man with the whole wedding tackle of a man that I don't like in pleasant company describing, that's in jail for rape of a woman. He goes into jail, to a man's prison, and he declares himself a transgender, and he has to go into a women's prison. Do the women in prison want that fella? There was a rape somewhere a few years ago by one of these guys. Well, now they're going to have to go into the men's prison. And all the sympathy on CNN is for the criminal. There's no talk of the victim at all. So again, it's a crazy, mixed up world, as the song and that beautiful melody by the Kinks, Lola. I mean, it is the loveliest melody ever. It's well worth playing. It's about a man that meets a transgender, not realising what he has. It's a bit like the scene in the Crocodile Dundee, where Mike Dundee meets a transgender in New York, and he decides he's going to do a test, and the rest, you'll get it on YouTube. Anyway, folks, there is a Christmas Eve atmosphere. There is a kind of a jolly sense of doom across the country with this warning. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Definitely a weather warning's no problem. Definitely. But imagine the postal service shutting down. Why didn't they wait till the morning and see what it's like and then give the instructions? Huh? I wanted a parcel posted today to be in Dublin tomorrow, and it won't be. It's strange. Well, that'll do for tonight, folks. We'll see if there's anything else on my mind. Well, I have a heap of stuff I get from my family home to throw in the bottle bank over here and the can bank, and I hate doing it because I have a sore finger. But I have to do it anyway to keep the thing ticking over. And I understand you can bring bottles and that in there to Tesco's and into all these stores and throw them into the thing, and you get some kind of a credit for them. I see them doing it there. And I was wondering, and maybe you'd advise me, could I put a string on one of those bottles and put it in 3 or 4 times, put it in, get the credit and pull it out again and keep putting it in? Let me know your views. Is that all right? Would that be legal, or what? What's the story with that? Some of you smart fellas should have an idea. Could you just keep putting it in all night there for an hour or two, and or do you get cash or whatever? To tell you the truth, I've been so busy lately that I just don't have time to bother with those small things. It's not now that I'm claiming to be all that prosperous and all that, but really at my stage, there's much better things to be doing than studying the ins and outs of their silly machine inside in Tesco's. And will it mean that there'll be no more battle banks in future? I had a few things to dump. I got lunch in a shop yesterday, which was a curry, not bad, in an aluminium bowl, and I had to throw the aluminium bowl into the aluminium cans. I think it was aluminium. It's safe enough to put it in there. And I was in Ballyjam Stuff yesterday, and the bottle bank there has a lock and key. You can't get into it once the co-op shuts. Imagine putting a bottle bank where access is denied except during business hours, weekends and everything else. Couldn't believe it. The place, the little holders are there, little plastic huts, that you put the stuff into, were there, but you couldn't get in, all locked up with a big barrier across. Anyway, that'll do tonight. That's about it. It's possible we'll all die tonight. Possible we'll all die, and I want to say it's been nice to know you. Nice to know you. But I want to say also, I'm not one bit worried. Whether I do or not. I couldn't care less. And if there's to be a nuclear war, I was just thinking there, the wind tonight is from the southwest in Ireland and Britain. And if there was to be a nuclear war and Putin was to drop a nuclear bomb, he couldn't drop it on Germany. He couldn't drop it on Germany because the fallout had come back to Belarus, his neighbour, on which he's on very good terms with, his ally. Azerbaijan and those countries. In fact, from Germany, the fallout could blow across to Moscow. So I don't think there'll ever be a nuclear attack by Russia on any part of Germany, Holland, not sure about Italy, but certainly not on Germany or Poland. There'll be no nuclear attack because the wind would affect Russia. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm only surmising here. If there is to be a nuclear attack, he'll drop it straight into the middle of England, and the wind will blow it across to Denmark, and he'll knock out Denmark as well, and there'll be panic there. Can you imagine if it had landed today, now an hour ago, and we're all being told there's been a nuclear strike in Germany, and we don't know what happened? Wouldn't there be the same type of an atmosphere as there is today here with this storm? Or what if it was after landing in we'll say Birmingham? God forbid, but if it was, or if it were, the grammar has to be right. When you're talking about nuclear destruction, if it was, has to be said correctly, or it were, has to be said correctly. We need to get the grammar perfectly right in when you're talking about big thing like nuclear bomb. But in any event, if the bomb arrived in the centre of England, which is where I would say it would go. I cannot see Russia ever attacking the European continent itself. I can't see it. Comment underneath if you wish, or whatever. Anyway, we hope it won't come to that. There's a run on toilet paper in there, and there's a run on food, and there's a run on... And I have to say one thing. 1/3 of 1/4 of all the bins is booze. So they're going to booze up for it. 1/3. No, sorry, 1/4. I could see into the trolley. Nothing wrong with that. It's booze. 1/4 is booze. Heineken and every type of thing. Does anyone notice exactly that in supermarkets? I bought no beer tonight. I don't want it. I'm not in humour with it. But has anyone ever noticed in all of the off licenses, it's all our strange queer beer from the back of beyonds, Pils and Pilsner and Podleys and every bloody damn thing, and foreign language. There's nowhere they sell much of the ordinary traditional British beer. You can't get Bass, which is a great beer, except in Asda in a skillen, and you can get a bottle of Smithwick's in that. But mostly they seem to be plugging these European beers big time. I'm not just too sure what that's all about. So we'll let you go. The other thing on my mind too is that the bold Trump is complaining about no trade between Europe and America, and the thing about that is, did you ever? The only thing I ever saw made in America on sale in Ireland was firearms, shotguns and rifles. That's all you're allowed to buy, but some of the services have handguns and machine guns and everything, and a lot of those are made in America. Well, about half of them, I'd say. But also gun care products for shining them up and colouring the barrels and all that they're nearly all American, but some are Europe. But the other thing I see a lot in America is Briggs and Stratton engines. You see them from America, but that's it. Does anyone know, is there anything else you can buy in Ireland made in America? You certainly can't buy a car. I don't think John Deere tractors are made in America. They're made in Europe, I think. There's nearly nothing you can buy. And Trump said that. They won't let us buy American cars. And this is what he's complaining about. So let me know your views on all those. Well, that was a very comprehensive 20-minute video. But sure, it's for a bit of entertainment more than anything else. Just thoughts and a bit of fun. Good luck. We'll see you back. Thank you. I hope you all come safe anyway, no matter what. I hope so. Bye.